Hello and welcome everyone to American Family Insurance DreamBank, where we believe in the transformative power of dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. For those of you that are familiar with DreamBank, welcome back. And for those of you that this is your first time joining us, welcome. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community, destination, and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our offerings are designed to help you celebrate your dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. Now, I'd like to introduce you to today's fantastic speaker. Mary Helen Conroy is an inspirational speaker, reinvention life coach, and author of the Kindle #1 bestseller, The Amazing Itty Bitty Retirement Book. Mary Helen's reinvention story has been featured in the Huffington Post, Wisconsin Public Radio, and a variety of podcasts. She has been named the midwife for the midlife, and her company, Life's a Daring Adventure, has sought to remind folks that regardless of their age, they are not alone and they're not done yet. She showed that once again as her pandemic pivot began her publishing career. Currently, she has published 7 books for authors who have had a dream. You are definitely original, Mary Helen. And with that, I will let you take it away.
Oh, thanks so much, Maddie. It's always a pleasure to be in DreamBank. My dreams were found here by being able to speak, and I'm so excited to meet all of the originals that are joining us today. I am totally amazed that there were almost 60 people who on a July sunny day in Wisconsin at least decided that maybe this would be an interesting thing to listen to. I certainly hope so. I'm an original. I have been on this planet for 25,758 days as of right now. No one else has walked in my shoes. No one else has been or had the original life that I've had. But what I'd like to do today is think about being an original, because there's some good things to that and there's some bad things to that. And I'm going to, of course, show my PowerPoint, because how could we ever do a program without a PowerPoint? So we're going to chat. I've always thought of the DreamBank presentations as sort of a fireside chat, especially when we went Zoom. I don't get the feedback from you. I don't see anybody here. And so I feel like I'm in my little bubble. But if you think you're an original, would you put that in the chat? Are you an original? Why are you an original? Chat those things right up so that others can read them as well. We're going to chat about that. We're going to talk about what being an original is, and mostly how you can say yes to your originality. How the number of days that you've been on this planet have created your own way of being you. So welcome. I'm Mary Helen, and I love dreaming. This famous Lewis Carroll quote, "But the time has come," the walrus said, "to talk of many things." We need to start talking about those things again. For over 2 years, we've been in a box called our homes. We've had a mask over our mouths so we couldn't speak well. And we didn't have the people around us who drive our own originality. So I was really excited. It's really funny when I work with Maddie. We decided the topic for this last January. Now I got to tell you, I don't know what I'm going to say tomorrow, let alone 7 months from now. But last January, I picked the topic of how to be an original. And I think it's a topic that we need more now than ever before, is for people to be their original selves. I love this quote by John Mason. "You were born an original, but don't die a copy." How did we stop being an original? Now, some of us haven't, but many of us have done that. Now, my little friend Turtle here knows if he was going to define what original is, it's that which a copy or reproduction is made. It's a person of fresh initiative. It's a unique or eccentric person. I use the word eccentric for a reason. Last weekend, I was honored, and we always have fun. We met with a group of my absolute favorite people. We had the Friday fish fry. And I said, as we got together, I said, I've got homework for us. We're going to talk about how to be an original. And eccentric came up. So I have to at least put that in quotes with a reference to it because I'm a librarian. But an original is unique. And I have to tell you a story. It's a story from Carroll Gilligan, who did a lot of work on women's education and sex role socialization. And she talks about a little girl named Susie. And Susie is 5 years old. And Susie's mom comes into her bedroom on her birthday and says, "Oh, guess what? Your favorite aunt sent you a dress to wear for your birthday." Now, I don't know if you've seen a 5-year-old have a tantrum in a while. Do you remember what that might look like? That little girl threw a tantrum and her mom got the dress on her. And you know, Susie grew up a little bit and she's now 10 years old. And the mom walks in on her birthday again and she's got another dress from this aunt. Obviously, the aunt's not learning, but that's okay. She's got another dress from the aunt. And Susie's just not with it. She slams the door, she throws the dress on the floor, she's stomping at it. But then she says to herself, "But I love her so much, I'll put the dress on." When that young woman is 16, when Susie is 16, she'll get in the car with the drunk driver. She can no longer say no because the peer pressures that she has now learned by age 16 are really, really important to her. But that's not the end of the story. And it's where our story picks up today. We have another opportunity in midlife somewhere, if you want to call it 30, if you want to call it 75, wherever you want to call midlife. We have another opportunity to do the Robert Frost poem, to take the road least traveled or continue on the road of others' thoughts. So today what we're going to look at is how can we move into that story for ourselves now? How can we become an original in our life? There's a list of adjectives in 2 columns here, and feel free to read them through. You might think one column is negative and one isn't. That's not true either, because you know, there are times when I can be an imaginative reproduction. Believe me, I can do that. But what words resonate with you when you look at these characteristics of being an original, or maybe not so much an original? If you want to, feel free to do that right in the chat again. What are the words that are calling to you right now as we begin our discussion about being an original? So how do you spot an original? You know, I've been thinking a lot about this as I'm walking through a store, or I'm just, you know, even watching TV and watching the patterns of people. None of us are alike. You know, this is probably one of the biggest diversity issues right now, is that we're not. We are originals. But sometimes we think that originals are not so nice people. They're really noisy. You can tell an original from 6 miles away. They wear weird clothes and they're doing weird things, and they say things in ways that make us feel uncomfortable, and they tell it like it is, absolutely, for sure. And often they polarize people, and they don't need your opinion, approval for anything. Some of those are characteristics that we go, "Ooh, I don't want to be an original. I don't want to be considered that way." Because if you're a true original, you do subject yourself to name calling or weirdness, and also that last one in the school of fish is that people expect great things from originals. They expect really great things from somebody who has an original thought. And we'll pursue that a little later. But there are indeed benefits to being an original. And these are the ones that I think we're here to talk about today. How can you be true to yourself? And how can you live on your own terms? And how can you be a trailblazer? And yes, how can you live a life of a daring adventure? Here's the answer. Just say yes. Just say yes. Because when you dare to be an original, when you dare to be an original, you're in essence daring to be you. Wow. 25,758 days. I can, in essence, dare to be myself. Now, I'm going to tell each of you that's listening now or later on the YouTube is that there is one message in this presentation that's just for you. I don't know what it is, but I do know that there's going to be one thought, one idea. Feel free to jot it down. And it's my gift to you because it's me as an original speaking to you as an original. So stop thinking you're boring. You know, you sit with people and they go, when I talk about being an original, they go, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm really boring. I have nothing to offer the world. I don't think anybody on this DreamBank thing right now believes that, but some people think that in order to be an original, you are like on the table all the time with a lampshade on your head. But we do indeed have to remember that as an original, we can't bore ourselves. Because sometimes we recoil and do that. In order to share our originality, we have to know what it is. We have to make a list. What am I original in? I got to tell you, it's not really baking. I don't do that well because that's following directions, and my originality doesn't allow me to follow directions as well as a baker would. But what are yours? We need to have perhaps a list of what makes us original. We need to break up our routine. I was just, luckily, it was a wonderful time. I had one of those sister weekends with a very good friend of mine weekend up in Michigan. So lots of time to have the radio on. And that means you're on different channels than you normally listen to. So within like a 2-hour from here to Michigan, you're in country western, you're in the religious, you're in the soft jazz, you're in the NPR. The whole world changes just by the click of the dial. And so does what we're thinking about and what we're acting on. Cut out your routine. Cut it as much as you can. Eat something new, take a new route to work, flip a coin and say, I'm going to go left, I'm going to go right. Whatever it is, shake it up, because the same old way produces the same old way, which is the same old way, which is another way of saying that you're insane. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your originality as you wake up every morning. And let go of those expectations. The story that Carroll told about the young woman at 16, she was doing what was expected of her. We grow up with a lot of expectations. I'm sure many of you grew up with the expectation to go to school, your expectation to get married, your expectation to have a child, your expectation to whatever. And when those supposes don't work out, that's not a good thing. But have expectations. Have dreams, have expectations and wonder about what might be, because that allows us to originally figure out a way to get there. And listen to your gut. There have been times when I have, and there's been times when I haven't. And I'm a better original when I listen to my gut. Is that true for you? Do you listen to your gut? How do you listen to your gut? It definitely talks to us. Listen to that feeling and know what it is that might be being told to you. And I think this is kind of fun just because I, of course, love unicorns and I love rainbows and I love water. And I don't like being boring. But one of the ways that I do that is that little journal right to the right of that book. Originality is in doing well. And the more that I can keep in touch with my being original journal, the more that I can be more original for you. And so I asked you to seek how to become an original. This was a picture I took this morning as I woke up a little earlier than I normally would. But that moon was there. And then to see the moon at the bottom as well, the reflection, what a way to start a day. How did you start your original day for July 14th, 2022? Do you look and how that can be? When you wake up and it's a brand new day, what does that mean to you? Can you start your journey as an original thought? It takes courage. I'm not going to say being an original is easy. People will fight you. People will not like you trying to do your own thing many times. But if you don't dare to be you, who's going to do it? Who's going, if you don't have the courage to say, I am Mary Helen Conroy, and today I am going to, whatever that might be. As Job said, Steve Jobs says, your time is limited. Don't waste it living somebody else's life. It takes courage, though, to know why you're unique. I'd love for you today or tomorrow to do that Post-it note on your mirror in the bathroom. How am I unique today? How am I unique today? And every day it might change, but it takes courage even to post that note. And then we have lots of ideas, don't we? I have lots of ideas for, oh, let's see, what new outcome? Whoa, I'm sorry, the whole thing is collapsing in front of me. And I could use some help on that. One of the things, this is kind of fun. Thank you. And I won't need it, so. We just have a technical issue here. Okay, that is taking action on your ideas. One of the, as Maddie said, one of my pandemic pivots was moving from being a public speaker, which is not the career to have before a pandemic. If you have any questions about that, I know. So leaving that, I really thought at that point that I was going to have to use the R word of retirement, because that was it. And a good friend, Lisa Konecki, who has been the speaker, I asked her what her dream was. She wanted to do a book. We did a book, and I have been able to help 7 other people do their books. This is taking action on your ideas. How many people have always said, I want to do a book? I want to do a book. Well, probably about 80% of the population wants to do a book. And about 20% of the population will start writing the first page, but only about 5% actually do that. In order for an idea to even have some fertile ground to be an original idea, you need to do something with it. You need to start that recipe when you think that you should use almond flour rather than cake flour in your recipe. You need to have the original idea of maybe I could wear 2 different shoes because they would fit me better rather than always doing what they come in the box. In order for our original ideas to take hold, we need to light them. We need to light them and act on them, because then they become real. And then the world knows. Then the world knows how to be an original as well. We all know about voice. We know to use our voice, to find our voice. What's your message for the world? My message I've discovered, but again, it was after probably about 23,000 days that I realized my message is life's a daring adventure and I'm not done yet, and neither are you. That's my message to the world. And so I would also have to say an original daring adventure. But what's your message? How do you see the world? What do you want to, how do you want to change the world? That's the gift we have coming out of the pandemic. How do we want to change the world? How can my originality change the world? Because we need you. We need you a lot. This is my granddaughter, Hazel Millie, who is 5 months old now. And she surprises me every day when my son sends me a picture from Eau Claire. But I need you to surprise people. I need you to go beyond your expectations. I need your unpredictability factor to be so off the charts that when I meet you, it's like, wow, what happened to her? How did that happen? How can you glow with knowing who you are more than you did yesterday? If I am always predictable, and in many ways I do that, get up, put one shoe on the other, that sort of things. But if we can throw ourselves off, if we can give ourselves a little surprise, we're going to surprise others. And you know what? That means they're going to see us. Because to be original, you need to be seen and you need to be heard. And so allow people in by surprising them in some ways. And isn't Hazel like the best, ever? And so today, try to be a little crazy. Try to be a little crazy. I don't know what that's going to mean for you today. Dr. Seuss books, pull them out, read them. You'll be crazy enough right there. But be a little crazy. Do something that you've never done. Or if you've done it before, do it a whole new way. I really like this term. It comes out of the physics and chaos theory, but be a creative incubator. Be a creative incubator. Wrestle with ideas, feed the unconscious, examine the whys in your life, go inside and be willing to take a long shower, a long walk, or a bike ride. Because the best ideas in your life probably come from taking a long shower, a car ride, or a walk. And so allow yourself the time to do that, because that's the incubation of your idea. What is an idea you might have that you can bring it not only into your life, but perhaps into the world? We're waiting for that. So I have to ask, what if you actually walked a path that you hadn't taken before? For some of you, that might be school. Maybe it's listening to a TED Talk. Maybe it's going to more of the DreamBank programs. What are some of the paths that you haven't taken yet that are available to you and that you could at least attempt to see what they are? I would love to find this path that's purple leaves all over it. I think that'd be really great. But what if you also question the norms and standards of how you kind of run your life? I'm of a certain age, and so I'm supposed to behave in a certain way. I'm a certain age, and so therefore I should look a certain way. I'm a certain age, and so people will respond to me in a certain way. And it's in the responding that oftentimes you can find an original. If you respond to me in a way that I'm not happy with, am I going to back away from you, or am I going to lean into you? Okay, that's got a reference to it as well. What if you broke some rules? Yep, just break them. What if you went with a crazy idea, not the safe choice? What if you explored as far? And what if you did go with your gut? How might the world be different? And how can we come out of the pandemic box with a mask over our mouth? And how might the world be different if we did some of those things? That's the reason I'm really glad that Maddie asked what I wanted to talk about. So I hope that you've been given the one idea that you found it in this talk, the one idea that I planted there just for you. And if you want, feel free to share it on the chat. They're going to save me those. But when you discover it, when you discover the one idea that comes out of this program, what are you going to do with it? Again, having the idea is not enough. It's putting the idea in action. Now, I want to make sure that you become an original today and always. Please keep in touch. Special thank you to those dinner conversation folks, because I promised that, they weren't going to get a royalty check from this. But it is in conversing with others about topics of importance that make the world different and make you an original. If we only talk about the weather and we only talk about the weather, oh wait, did we mention the weather? If we only do that with each other, we don't allow ourselves to go inside to find out why we're an original, and we can't be an original with somebody else. So I hope you'll take this conversational chat to somebody else, and I wish you a great day, and thank you very much. And I think we hit the 3:27, Maddie, so I think it's okay. There we go. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I know that I always look forward to our dream bigs. And I think specifically for myself, I was taking notes and wondering what my thing was going to be. But what you shared at the very end about breaking rules really struck me. And it's not necessarily society's rules that I think I need to break, but the rules I've made for myself that I think are a little rooted in fear, if I have to be honest. And so I think I'm going to go for a walk today and think about some of those rules that maybe I should break. And I think they're holding me back a little bit, and it's okay to do it scared. But that is kind of like my little takeaway. It really just hit home for me. And so I think there's something there that I don't have the rule quite yet, but that I'm going to sit with and really kind of explore, because I like to play it safe. It is my favorite.
Don't we all?